deal. But I love that this tour really covers a wide span of conversations, and it would be really hard to see all these sculptures in person on a walking tour. So to have this as a virtual experience, I think is really cool because we had to cover so much ground metaphorically.
Yeah, definitely. This is not history that's like stuck in a textbook somewhere. It's on public land, it's in public space. It's things that if you're local to Washington, D.C., you probably have passed a million times. You might not have had that background to it. And I agree with you. I've been able to see these statues in a new way. And I'm happy that we can continue offering this as a virtual tour. And I'm just excited to dive into it. So with that, I'll pass it back to Toho tour guide Buck Johnson to take it away and start our tour, Sculpting Herstory with a tour of her own.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's dive into it here. So opening up, I broke this down into 3 different sections this tour. So the sculpted, the few statues of women that are sculpted here in DC, not just the ones that are on outdoor public grounds. We're going to do the indoors ones as well. And then the sculptors is the meat of the presentation. We're going to learn about the women behind the sculptures that created these artworks that really are iconic parts of DC here. And then the very last one is sculpting American history. So the modern women that are still going forward, that are still producing right now, currently, today, that are still producing, that have already created significant works around the DC area. So first things first, so my title slide, very iconic sculpture in Washington, the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol building, is presented here. So you can see the 3 women that are sculpted: Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, Lucretia Mott, women that were heavily involved in the suffrage movement. And then the iconic mountain in the back that is uncarved, the big controversy of who should it be or should it stay blank. There's a lot more. I could do a whole another tour on just getting down to the nitty gritty of just this sculpture itself. But it was done by Adelaide Johnson. This sculpture, Adelaide Johnson, another woman who I could just do an entire tour on. I need to write a blog post about her, I think. But she created the sculpture right after the 19th Amendment was passed. It was presented to the Capitol in 1921, so 100th anniversary this year of it. And then it was placed in the broom closet and forgotten about for decades until it's finally brought back up into the rotunda of the Capitol. So if we can get back into the Capitol anytime soon, hopefully we'll be able to see this wonderful sculpture. And then other statues inside the Capitol of women. So I'm gonna list off the few women that are represented in there, and at the end of the tour, there's upcoming statues or sculptures of women that will be coming soon, hopefully, to the Capitol to be added to the Capitol collection. Because inside the U.S. Capitol building, each state has 2 statues that they can present to the Capitol building. Currently, of the 100 statues, 2 from each state, only 9 of them are of women. There are other statues of women inside the Capitol that are not state specific, and we'll get to them too shortly here. But of the statues of women right now, we have Sarah Wanamaker from Nevada, Sacagawea is represented from North Dakota, and Jeanette Rankin from Montana. If you don't know Jeanette Rankin, she's the first woman to be elected to Congress before the 19th Amendment was passed, which is kind of cool. And then anytime you see a red star, a little red asterisk down here, that means that not only is it a statue or sculpture of a woman, but the artist was a woman too. So we'll get to her at the very end, actually. A few more of the women: Esther Hobart Morris from Wyoming, Frances Willard, actually the first one of a woman in the Capitol building, and then Maria Sanford from Minnesota. And then we have Helen Keller, iconic one down in the lobby of the Capitol Visitor Center. Florence Sabin in Colorado, one of the few that's not standing in their sculpture. And then also Mother Joseph in Washington, also not standing. There, oh, she is in the lobby as well. And then I mentioned the non-state ones that are women there. There's this bust of Sojourner Truth, which will come up again later in the tour, as you might guess by the red star there. She sits in the Capitol Visitor Center as well. She's a fairly modern one in 2009. And then Rosa Parks, also a newer addition as well. Not state specific, although she definitely could be. But yeah, she is in the main collection in the old house chamber called Statuary Hall. Most people call it Statuary. So let's go out